Hey everybody, and welcome to the Hot Tag with your girl Izzy. Today I am so excited to be joined by somebody who you need to keep an eye out for because he is a legit star in the making. He's performed on Warrior Wrestling, MLW, AEW Dark, and Dynamite, and many other promotions. He also is one half of the Varsity Blondes. He is flying Brian Pillman Jr. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Izzy? You
I'm
know the
doing
deal.
good.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, we know
how's
the
it going?
deal. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the Hot Tag. We're super excited that you're here. And I want to start off with video games because that's a big hobby of yours, right?
Oh wow, you know me better than I thought.
I know. Yeah, I did my research, trust me. So, is there like a game you've been into lately?
Yeah, I've actually been playing a lot more than I should have of
Oh,
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. What's that? I
It's like
need to
a
get on the video game
oh,
world.
it's been around for shoot 16 years now,
That sounds
So
familiar though.
yeah, it's like that old meme game, like like in South Park where there's like the guy that
Okay.
plays so much and he kills everybody.
Okay, I get
Like
what you're
it's like
saying.
yeah, it's like the most OG massive online game of all
Is
time.
it
Like
like the basic like starter one video gamer game?
yeah, it's like the basic like you start at level 1 and you level up
Okay.
and then you get your powers and then you play with other
Um,
people. You go through dungeons, you got your
oh.
spellcasters and you got your sword, you got your warriors and stuff
Is
and
it kind of like D&D a little
yeah,
bit?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay, okay, I get what you're
so
saying.
it's inspired by the universe of Dungeons and Dragons, right? So,
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons, which would have started off as a verbal RPG,
Mhm.
a world that we create with our minds and in our words,
Mhm.
eventually turned into a tabletop, experience. People play board games and stuff, and then those board games one day evolved into what we do today as video games, right? So
Yes,
almost everything originated from D&D.
definitely. And it's really cool just to see the evolution of games. Is there like an upcoming one that you're looking forward to?
Um, well, I was excited for that Cyberpunk game, and then it came out, and
Oh,
apparently
okay.
it was real bad. It wasn't any
I
good.
heard that. I didn't get the
Yeah,
whole thing. It's
yeah.
odd.
Well, you seem interested in games. What's your favorite
What
game?
am I into? I'm really into Animal Crossing New Horizons, not gonna lie. I'm one of those
Wow,
people.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm
That's cool.
I'm
No,
into that. And then Death Stranding is really good. It's a confusing story. There's babies and like dementor looking people, and it's like I don't know, just it's a little weird, but I'm into it. And I really like the guy who plays the main character, Norman
yeah,
Reedus, because I watched The Walking Dead. And I'm like, yes, I love this
yeah.
guy. Have you ever watched The Walking Dead?
Yes, I
Okay,
watched
good,
it
good.
back when it
Everybody
was
watched it.
like, yeah, back when it was new and fresh and stuff, and then
Hmm.
eventually I just, I got out of it. It's one of those shows that kind of sometimes like I'm very you asked me the question about being a gamer, but I'm very much like an active person when it comes to
Hmm.
entertainment. Like I like to be doing something, I like to be engaging with it because I started playing video games at the age of I don't know 9 years old. It's like they've been a part of my life so long. I've always had that stimulation, that mental kind of puzzle going on. I never got too invested in sitting down watching shows, but
Hmm.
I really did enjoy Game of Thrones. That was like my main show.
Okay.
I thought
I've
Walking
never
Dead
gotten
was
into
really
that.
cool. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Everybody's got their own flavor of ice cream. I
Yeah, I've been
like I was
watching.
so committed to Game of Thrones. I loved it.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know where to start because I feel like there's so many different versions. I know there's like different seasons and everything, but there's
Yeah.
just like there's too much and I'm like, okay, I don't want to be
Oh, they all
confused on
they all
like the
go
first
they
episode.
all flow together. Like there's no
Okay.
like you definitely want to just start with the first episode. Ironically, the first episode is one of the best episodes in my opinion.
Mhm.
The
Cuz
first episode of the first season. So it's a great place to start. It's a little bit more of a mature show. It's
yeah.
definitely more of an adult show. But when I was started watching it, I was a young adult, so I was like, "Oh, okay, well, this is great. This
This
is
is
very
cool.
dramatic. This is yeah, it's
Dragons
very
and is there dragons in there? I don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But the
okay.
I
I wasn't sure.
but the overarching element is not so much the fantasy. It's more so about the cunning and the deceit and the betrayal and the drama of basically the human interactions. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there's so much humanity in the show. There's so much. There's two sides to every person. You know what I mean? Not nobody is one flawless being in that show. Everybody's got like a bad streak in them. You know what I mean? Everybody's out for
Well, to be honest,
the
like
ultimate.
the shortest streak on that show was the Starbucks cup, to be honest. Like I saw that thing, like that was really big. So,
That was funny, yeah.
but that's like that kind of made me like, okay, this is really weird cuz like if they're not
Yeah,
going to put enough effort,
I don't think that that was legit. I don't know. I didn't even notice it watching the show, and that
it was
happened
just
like
there.
8 seasons in. Yeah, like I don't think like. But yeah, when you watch the show at first, like it's you can tell it's like a newer kind of indie kind of startup. Like a lot of those actors
Hmm.
and actresses were unheard of before that show because they were
Yeah.
just a part of a small project. Like, oh, this is going to be we're going to reinvigorate like this book. You know, there was the A Song of Ice and Fire, you know, the novel series, and they were just, you know, they were throwing mud at the wall, and then it stuck, and it became, you know, one of the biggest hit shows of my generation, at least. And
Yeah.
um, but no, it was really cool. But no, with Walking Dead and like shows like Walking Dead and Breaking Bad, I got into. But
Hmm.
again, like once the same thing kept happening over and over, I just kind of got like out of it, you know.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I'm on I don't know what season I'm on for Walking. I want to say season 4. I think I don't want to spoil it, but they're at the
Yeah.
prison and something really big happens and it's
Oh, I
like,
remember the prison part. Yeah, yeah.
oh, it was that part was
My,
interesting,
my
very
my thing with
stressful.
certain shows like Walking Dead and Breaking Bad, like especially
Hmm.
Breaking Bad, I was like, why do they keep making the same mistakes over and over? You know, like what?
I know
Why do they
Walking
keep
Dead
doing? Like, why don't
like
they learn from this?
yeah, Walking Dead it's like every episode someone is about to die and then they don't die. It's like stuff like that and it just stresses me
Yeah, it
out
just
to the
stresses me out.
max.
Yeah,
Yeah, and maybe that's the goal of the show, but I feel like it's
yeah.
time to get into the serious questions. They're not really that serious, but I think you get what I'm trying to say here. And I wanted to start with the beginning of your journey, and a lot of people
Oh,
may not notice about you, not know this about you, but you have a background in football and lacrosse. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Thank you
that's
for that.
really cool.
Sorry,
So
I
how
forgot we were on an interview show. We were talking so
I know
much
we talk
about the.
about shows and everything,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're kind of
No,
all
it's
over the
good.
place, but
But yeah, let's talk about my athletic background.
yes. So, how did
So,
those two sports help you transition into
well,
the ring?
you know, the gimmick is real. You know, the Varsity
The
Blondes
gimmick.
are. We are a couple of varsity athletes. We are a couple of former college athletes,
Hmm.
and sports have always been a part of my life. You know, when you grow up the son of an NFL slash pro wrestler, you know, it's always
Hmm.
kind of on your mind to try to achieve something and try to make something of yourself physically. And getting into sports was a no brainer for me. I started playing football when I was a pee wee, like 7 years old. You know, we had the Boone County Pee Wee Football
Starting
League.
young.
Yeah, and we had Pee Wee football. We had this super mean coach, but he was a great coach. You know what I mean? Like they
Okay,
gotta
yeah.
be mean. You know what I mean? Because we won every
Hmm.
Super Bowl. They called it the Super Bowl, of course.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was Coach Napier. We were the Black Hawks. That was our
Okay.
team. We were the Hawks. We were gold and black. And yeah, we were. It was a tough sport for a young kid to get into. You know,
Hmm.
you're all padded up. You're running into each other. You got this old man yelling at you, and I just fell in love with it. You know, and I think I took a little break before, like a little bit before high school. You know, just to kind of get my life together. But yeah, once I got into high school, at freshman year, that's when the weight training started.
Okay.
I was like 12 years old. I was always like a year behind because I was a September baby.
Okay,
But
yeah, I get what you're
I was
saying.
too smart. They couldn't hold me back. They're like, he's too damn smart.
Yeah, you're way too smart.
They're like, do you want to be held back? I was like, nah. They were like, all right, let him go. And then yeah, like once I started lifting weights and stuff, and I started feeling like coming into my own body and stuff, I got into football, and
Okay.
football really saved my life. You know, football really kept me out of trouble, kept
Hmm.
me from being in the wrong crowd. Because the kids that were playing sports and that were in football were generally um, the kids that were, had their stuff together, because you had to have good grades. You couldn't be on the football team and
Hmm.
not be passing, so there was like incentive to succeed outside of football just so I could be in football to
Okay.
succeed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
it
get what
was
you're
really,
saying.
it was a really good system, a really good community, a really good high school, Dixie Heights High School, the
Hmm.
Dixie Colonels. Some of the greatest memories of my life. And but going into college, lacrosse had like become a new thing in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, Cincinnati
Okay.
area. And so it's like, oh, I'm going to experiment with this new sport. I don't think I'm going to go to the NFL. So I'll just mess around and try something new. And I wanted to hit people with the stick. So, um,
It's perfect.
yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just play lacrosse and it'll be great. Um,
Yeah,
and So, okay, today's the 15th. Sorry, I was checking something.
you're good.
Somebody's birthday's coming up. I got to get ready for that.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to do something for lacrosse for him. It'll be fun.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
One of my lacrosse buddies.
Don't hit them with a stick though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to happen.
It's their birthday.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like I just ended up doing that in college just to kind of do something different.
Hmm.
I was like, I'll mix it up and do something different, and then ended up meeting a lot of really nice people. I went to a private college called the College of Mount St. Joseph, where I've made some
Hmm.
great friends, like some friends I'll literally have for the rest of my life. Like, oddly enough, like I'm better friends with those guys than I am at like the next. Like, I ended up transferring to NKU
Okay.
because I just couldn't keep up with the tuition of the private college. As a
Hmm.
kid, I took out loans, for school and stuff because I didn't have a lot of money going into college, so I just couldn't keep up with the private school and to play lacrosse. So it was like, you know what, I'll finish out my degree at a nice, public university, Northern
Hmm.
Kentucky University, great school, constantly thriving, constantly building, adding new things, new programs. Love that place. Hopefully one day I can give back to them. But yeah, I ended up earning my degree at a Northern Kentucky University, and having a good background in sports and athletics, and yeah, I went on to work for a Fortune 50 company right out of
Hmm.
college. I got hired on my last day of school.
Oh,
Somebody walked up and was like, "Hey, you got what we want." And I was like, "All
wow.
right."
Let's do this.
I didn't even really think about it. I was like, I just want to get a job. I just want to say I got hired. So, the sooner you get started, the sooner you get experience doing one thing, you get the wheels turning. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing that people face in life is indecisiveness,
Hmm.
not knowing what to do or when to do it. And I think that's been my biggest strength in my career too now and in my life, is just being able to decide, being able to make a decision and just doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, since we are kind of on the topic of football, your tag team partner, Griff Garrison, is a huge fan of football, and I honestly don't blame him. And I gotta say, one thing I love about the Varsity Blondes is that you guys have such great chemistry in the ring. And that's a characteristic that a lot of fans look for in tag teams. So I asked Griff this question. He said hanging out outside the ring helped you guys connect and work together. So for you personally, how do you think you guys were able to get to that place where you two were able to work cohesively?
It's hard really because with the pandemic and everything, the only times we could spend time together was when we're at AEW and we're at work.
Yeah.
So, but luckily because the days are so long and there's so much going on, there's so much content being produced. Sammy Guevara has been huge in helping us get our faces on his show and like helping promote us. Which has been wonderful, especially for Griff, and Griff getting on BTE has helped Griff get
Hmm.
over and stuff. So, a lot of times we're just off, working on fun projects, doing different things together, making each other laugh and all this stuff. So yeah, like, the days are long. We do get to spend a lot of time around each other. We started off, I said, you know what, let's just share a trailer, let's sit in the trailer together. That way we'll get changed, we'll get dressed together. That way we kind of have that same kind of
Yeah,
schedule
like
of what
that
we're
bond
doing.
almost.
Yeah. But other than like, I wish there was more. Like, I wish I could go out to North Carolina or work in a ring with him or something. But when you have access to the greatest professional wrestling ring on the planet, the All Elite Wrestling Ring, and you got access to all those different minds, all those different people, it's almost better that we're there and we're focused. And for those,
Hmm.
48 hours, 72 hours that we're in Jacksonville, um, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot to be done. We have gotten by so far because our organic chemistry, can't be denied. You know what I mean? He's the type of guy that he got the look. He likes to keep it simple. He's very impactful. He makes
He is.
everything mean something. His
Hmm.
strikes always mean something. People, he puts people's stuff over, puts people over. They put him over. Um, and at the same time, I'm the type of guy where I know a little bit of fancy stuff, but I like to keep it simple too because I know that it means more. And I know that if I'm working with a young guy like him, it's better that what we do is just natural. We're not
Hmm.
forcing anything. We're not doing anything super risky. We're not trying to get hurt. We're trying to be snug. We're trying to be smart. And we're trying to bring a lot of athleticism that, you don't need to be, um, you don't have to question it when you see it. You don't have to look at it and go, oh, well, he did 20 flips and then he did this. And it was just like, nah, he just fucking hit him in the head. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to curse on
Oh,
your
it's
show.
fine. It happens.
Oh, I don't know.
It's all good.
I feel bad. You're young
No,
girl.
it's
Sorry.
fine. It's all good.
We'll beep it out. We'll beep it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I got to be a good person. Sorry, we get those wrestler mouths. We get those potty mouths in the business. It's rough. I'm
It's
sorry.
all
How
good.
how how old are you again?
I'm 13. I'm kind of
Oh
scared. I
gosh,
know.
terrible. Edit that one out. Bleep that one out.
It's all good. It happens.
Oh gosh. But basically what I was saying was, because we could edit the last part, I was that, instead of using a lot of misdirection and acrobatics to confuse our opponents, we just bring the fight to them directly. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We don't do a whole lot of flips and stuff, but what we do is meaningful. What we do is impactful in the ring. And we're just a couple hard hitting kids, you know what I mean? We're out there, we're excited. We've been getting a lot of big opportunities. And I think win or lose, we've proven that we're hanging with the best of them. I mean, we just wrestled the elite, and we
Yes.
went four quarters with the elite. So if that doesn't make us all elite, then I don't know what does.
And I was just about to go into that, and thank you for transitioning very well. So, you had a match against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers with Griff Garrison and Danny Limelight, that's a huge match, if I say so myself.
Yeah.
So, what was that experience like?
Um. Wow. What can I say? A full circle experience. I've been wanting to challenge Kenny Omega for since the beginning of my career. He has always
Hmm.
been the bar, the benchmark for athletic performance in the wrestling ring. When I was breaking in, uh, lance was always Lance Storm would train us, and he would talk about the current products and what was at the top at the time. And when I was learning and I was training in 2017, september
Hmm.
of September through December of 2017, that was the bar. That was the big benchmark. That was Kenny Omega. That was the Bucks. That was Cody. That was Jericho. And Kenny. Like there was so much happening. There was so much happening, and I could just see it. I could see the revolution starting. And I looked at it and I said, you know what? That's what I want to be a part of.
And you definitely were, and that
That's what
match was
got
a
me.
lot
That's
of
what got
fun.
me back into wrestling. Was those guys?
Okay.
Everybody's like, "Oh, your dad was Brian Pillman. You must have been around the business your whole life," and that's just not true at all.
Okay. Yeah. And
My dad passed when I was 5 years old.
okay.
You know, 4 years old.
Yeah, and you made such a big impact on Wednesday. Like I was so proud of you. I was like, yes, he's getting it. Like I'm so happy for him. Like he's killing it in the ring. And just everybody like did such a fantastic job. So I wanted to touch on one of your most recent events that you were part of, and that is the Love Alive charity. You, Red Velvet, and Rebel went out to Jacksonville, the home of AEW, to hand out clothes and food to the homeless. So, from your experience, what was your biggest takeaway?
Um, just such a beautiful city. I just want to say that just for some context, my aunt and uncle have lived down there for the past 10 years,
Okay.
and because I was more, a lot of my childhood, I was more or less raised by my aunts and my uncles, because, my mother wasn't there. My dad obviously wasn't there. So I spent a lot of time traveling to Jacksonville for, summer vacation. Me and my
Hmm.
sisters and my aunt that lives up here would go down and visit my other aunt and stuff. And so Jacksonville became sort of a second home for me very early in my life, so it was kind of a weird full circle moment once I started working down there for AEW. Like, it's like I knew the area. It's like I knew I had family there to support me if I
Mm-hmm.
needed anything. It was almost how, like, they say things happen for a reason. It was very odd to me, and I thought, you know what, um when Elijah Burke reached out to me about doing that show on
Mm-hmm.
January 9th, it was to be an indie show, and then in the evening to raise money, and then at the charity, the outdoor, charity in the
Yeah.
morning at 11 a.m. And I thought, well, how can I make this work? And I saw that I was at AEW that week, and I thought, what better way, to give back to Jacksonville, the city that I grew up visiting, the city that allows us, if it wasn't for the city of Jacksonville, none of us would have a job,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of these athletes have to realize. A lot of these people at AEW, we're very, very lucky. I'm very lucky. The fact that I came in at the last minute, at the middle of the pandemic, almost like the door was closing and I just made it in, and
Mm-hmm.
the city of Jacksonville letting us operate, letting us have fans, I thought it was the least I could do was to give back to the city. And the Pope, I've known the Pope for a while. He met me at an indie show in Virginia early on in my career. Was
Mm-hmm.
amazing to me. Gave me great advice.
Okay, that's
Like,
awesome.
sat with me at Waffle House like all night one night. Like, just taught me the road. Smartened
Mm-hmm.
me up real good. And I thought, you know what, this will be really cool. So me and
Yeah.
Velvet and Reba, Rebel, whatever you want to call her. We went out to the site, outside the Burger King, and we gave away a lot of clothes and a lot of food, and it was just really cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, so many people are afraid to interact with the public and with the people, but everybody had their masks on, everybody was
Mm-hmm.
being smart and safe, and you know what? I'd rather risk my life giving back to people that need it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing well, with AEW, and and all I had to do was change my flight and stuff. You know what I mean? It didn't cost me but my time and effort to go out there and to help, give back, and to help feed these people. And then that night, I got to perform and I got to wrestle
Mm-hmm.
again for the charity, for FEW, the company that Elijah runs, and I wrestled him. I wrestled him for the heavyweight championship, and I won the championship.
Oh, yes.
I think once he caught wind of me moving there, he's like, "All right, we'll put the belt on him."
Why not?
But no, I just it was a really great day, to be able to give back for one, to be able to wrestle a guy that I've looked up to for so long. I mean Elijah Burke is a phenomenal wrestler, phenomenal athlete,
Mm-hmm.
and a phenomenal person. You know what I mean? He's doing all this charity out of his own pocket just to give back to his own city. He's one of Jacksonville's very own. It's something that he was very proud of when he was in the WWF and all that. And uh and no, I just thought it was really cool, and hopefully I can give back more in the future now that I'm kind of taking my base down there and moving down there.
Yeah, and it was really just cool to see, you, Velvet, and Reba Rebel just like, help out Jacksonville. And it was just really touching to see. So I wanted to talk about something that the pro wrestling community sees every time you're in the ring, and that's how you follow in your dad's footsteps. Obviously, you do that every time in the ring, like I said, and you continue to do that. So, at what moment do you feel like you can finally say, I followed in my dad's footsteps perfectly and the way I wanted to?
I don't think it'll ever be perfect, right? I think
Yeah,
perfect
but
is a hard word to use, because I am a lot different than him in many ways, but like you said, in the way that I want to, right? Like, when will I feel satisfied? When will I feel accomplished in what I've done and what I've achieved? And I think that's just a matter of succeeding where he failed. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
to me, a lot of people think, oh, you want to win the heavyweight champion, this, that, and the other. And to me, it's much more than that. It's not so much about the wrestling, and the
mhm,
belts and the accolades. To me, my performance is going to come from the heart. It's going to be truly me, genuinely me. I'm not going to try and mimic any of his accomplishments or any things he did. but where I can succeed and where I can fulfill where he left open was being a good father,
Mhm.
being there for my family. He was very busy. He was always on the road. Us young kids, we didn't get to see him much. And then by the time I got old enough to really appreciate him and to remember everything, he passed away. So
Mhm.
I think I need to learn from the mistakes he made and try not to run my body, into the dirt and destroy my body too much. That way I can have a longer career.
Mhm.
And if the championships and the heavyweight titles and all that and the tag titles and all that comes with it, him and Tom Zank were WCW tag champions, like I'm like, I don't, that's not something I think I need to have to fulfill in his shoes. I think it would be nice, but
Mhm.
I think in order to fulfill his shoes and to also succeed them and to do more, I need to be a good person, outside the ring. You know what I mean? And not that he wasn't a good person, but I don't want I would like my kids to grow up, happy and healthy and have their parents there for them. And so really, like, people like, oh, you want to be a big wrestler? It's like, no, one of my biggest goals is to be a father. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And you definitely honor his legacy every time you're in the ring. And I got to ask you, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Where can everybody find you on social media? Where can they find like your matches and stuff? I finally found my words.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of great matches on AEW Dark, and you can
Yes.
watch those at your leisure, no subscription required.
Mhm.
AEW Dark has been a great program, since its beginning. We're averaging 500 to 800,000 viewers, so we're competing with, some of the top TV shows out there. A lot of the times we're out doing them, um, outside of AEW Dynamite and stuff. And then yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Flying Brian 41.
Yes.
You can follow me at Twitter at Flying Brian Jr. A little bit different. I try not to be too confusing, but that one might get confusing. And yeah, generally those are my two avenues where I connect with the fans and stuff. I don't really use Facebook or Snapchat anymore, so but feel free to reach out on Instagram or Twitter.
Yes, and everybody watching, make sure you check out all his social medias and
Hmm.
his matches because I truly enjoy his matches and they
Well,
are
if I can
fantastic.
plug one more thing, sorry to
Oh,
cut
go
you off.
ahead. Yeah, no, you're
Um,
good.
um, Obviously, pro wrestling tees
Yes.
is a big part of our income as wrestlers. But just to give everybody a heads up, there will be the dark side of the ring will be an episode on my father, Brian Pillman, and that will be airing as soon as the first season comes out next year or this year. So stay tuned for Dark Side of the Ring season 3, and stay tuned on Pro Wrestling Tees because we will have some related merch coming out, and we will have some Flying Brian merch and some Loose Cannon merch coming out.
Yay!
So stay tuned.
Finally. And I'm excited for Dark Side of the Ring. Oh, yes. I love that shirt. Dark Side of the Ring is really good, I gotta say. I kind of enjoy
It
watching
is, yeah. I just
it's
rewatched some of it the other, week on Christmas with my girlfriend. It was a good time. She really enjoyed it. She's not a huge wrestling fan, but like to see the
mhm.
stories behind it and all the people involved, she really loves it. So
Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me today on the hot tag. I had a great time talking with you.
thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And thank you guys for joining me on this episode of The Hot Tag with your girl Izzy and Brian Pillman Jr. I will see you guys next time. Bye.